Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. While the Royal St. Lucia Police Force has not classified whether the death of 16-year-old Hassani Joseph was a homicide or suicide, family members are reeling in the wake of his death. Some speculate that it may have been a robbery gone bad. The sister of the victim spoke with Hot 7 TV News on Wednesday.
He was a calm person. He wasn't into any gangs or anything of that sort. So he was such a loving individual. I don't know how somebody can just take his life.
Hassani Joseph's lifeless body was found in his room at his Wakache home on Friday, the 5th of March. His mother shared fond memories of her son.
Well, Hassani was a very nice child, obedient. He never used to follow gangs. Nothing so. The only thing I know, Hassani would not want to kill himself. Never. Well, all of us felt that something went wrong, but we don't know. We don't know.
Police are treating the matter as a suspicious death and are awaiting the results of a post-mortem examination. In news coming to hand, the Ministry of Health has confirmed one more COVID-19 related death, bringing the total number of deaths recorded in country so far to 47. The ministry also received confirmation of 39 new cases of COVID-19. The United Workers' Party says it is confident in its Labrie candidate to bring the seat home to the UWP, even as news of discontent within the constituency is gaining traction. UWP Chairman Pinkley Francis says Francisco Japierre was unanimously endorsed by the party, and despite the preference of some constituents, Japierre was elected fair and square and has the confidence of the party. Is Francisco Japierre's political future up in the air? The chairman of the United Workers' Party, Pinkley Francis, says while the party is aware of the dissatisfaction being voiced by some UWP supporters in the Labrie constituency, its candidate selection process was done through the proper channels and saw Francisco Japierre being endorsed unanimously to contest the Labrie seat in the next general elections. Japierre was one of 3 candidates endorsed by the National Council of the United Workers' Party back in June 2020.
Mr. Japierre went through the process approved by the party, and he was unanimously endorsed a few months ago. Basically when that happens, we call on all within the constituency to put their support behind Mr. Japierre. Obviously, as you're aware, there might be people who have different preferences as to who should be representing them. But, I mean, we respect the process. It's a process that is done by the constituency branch and its members. And when an endorsement is done, we call on everyone to put their full support behind the selected candidate so that we can be victorious in the poll. Like I said, you will find pockets of people who have different views, but we are always open to hear our people and what they have to say. And we are available to meet with them, and that's what happened, I guess, over the weekend, that, the political leader availed himself to meet with people and hear what their views are.
This is the second constituency in the South that has seen some level of dissension within party ranks following candidate selection. The process in Choiseul for the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party spawned a bitter rivalry between Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose and Dr. Pauline Prosper, causing Dr. St. Rose to break from the party and offer himself as an independent candidate. Could we see a similar scenario play out in Labrie? The chairman certainly hopes that this will not be the case, but could the party see the erosion of support from its base in that constituency? And if so, how will the ruling UWP get an SLP stronghold like Labrie to vote a UWP candidate in for the first time? Japierre already tried unsuccessfully in 2016, even given what many viewed as a national swing against the Labour Party in favor of the UWP. Alva Baptiste still proved unshakable from that seat. Francis says the party is banking on its work in the South to convince constituents that voting in UWP candidates in all Southern constituencies is a vote for the progress of the entire South.
We, as a party, remain very confident that we can change the status quo in the South. As you can see, our policy in the last 4.5 years has been geared towards major development within the south of the island has been neglected for many years. So you've seen a lot of employment created down there, like of Ojo Labs and ITEL. We have placed a lot of emphasis on a whole new sector that you can see survive in the midst of the worst pandemic. We created over 700 jobs within the pandemic itself, and that happened down in the south. So we're hoping that the intelligent people and everybody in the south would recognize that the south is finally being recognized as a new frontier.
Some Labrie residents argue that the constituency is largely ignored by the United Workers' Party, given that it is such an SLP stronghold. So the question was put to the chairman: has the party dismissed the seat as quote-unquote unwinnable, as suggested by some? Francis says nothing could be further from the truth, since the party is very optimistic that Labrie, as part of the South, will place its trust in the UWP to usher in a new age of prosperity in the South. A viral meme on social media making reference to the age of 3 endorsed female candidates of the St. Lucia Labour Party has gained a response from some of the women themselves. They are speaking out about ageism and sexism within the context of St. Lucian politics. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
The St. Lucia Labour Party has endorsed 3 female candidates to represent the party in the upcoming general elections: Emma Hippolyte for Soufrière Foncé Jacques, Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper for Choiseul Saltibus, and Dr. Virginia Poyot for Babonneau. There have been numerous comments on the age of the candidates and whether they should be making way for a younger generation at the helm. A meme has gone viral with the candidates labeling them as grannies. Endorsed candidate for Soufrière, Emma Hippolyte, says this issue of ageism, particularly with regards to women, is an age-old issue. She says, however, the majority of individuals making such remarks have nothing to show themselves.
The same persons who comment and say granny night out, you ask them what they have done to change the lives of our young people. Sweet nothing. But I will not be deterred by the comments of persons. I am on a mission. I have continued to serve my people. I have continued to serve the youth. I have continued to serve St. Lucia, the Caribbean, and I continue to represent women. Each individual must know who she or he is, what is his mission in life, what is his calling?
Meanwhile, the candidate for Choiseul Saltibus, Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, says the saying that age is just a number is very true, especially if one is physically and mentally capable. She indicated, however, that this issue seems to be happening worldwide.
All over the world, people who are of age. If you look at the Supreme Court in the USA, those people who make all the tough decisions about the future of people, they are not young people. Their brains are active, so as long as your brains are active and your brains are function, you should be able to do anything. And I think we retire too early in St. Lucia. This is why we are not more productive. Before people get to 40 years, they think they are already dying. We have to start to die when we die, and not die while we are still alive. So nobody will make me die before I'm dead. So I will only be inactive when I am dead. For as long as I can breathe, I will make a contribution to my country, and I think every woman. And we have to change the way we think about women. Women are just as capable as men.
Both candidates indicated that while they do understand that there is a need for the younger generation to have a seat at the table, there is also need for experienced individuals. The two say, however, it is unfair that older men are usually always revered if they are able to remain in their positions until their deathbed, while women are expected to retire promptly after a certain age. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness says it is encouraged by the favorable response from citizens as it continues to roll out its COVID-19 vaccination campaign. As of Tuesday, the 9th of March, a total of 10,437 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine have been administered. Nisha Charles tells us more in this report.
St. Lucia launched its COVID-19 vaccination campaign on February 17, 2021, with an initial focus on people who are at greatest risk of exposure to the virus or to having severe outcomes if they contract it. Emphasis has been placed on vaccinating frontline workers within clinical and national security settings, senior citizens, and people living with chronic health conditions. Weeks into the campaign, the National Immunization Manager, Tekla Jabatis, says the response at various vaccination sites has been encouraging.
The vaccination campaign has been undertaken by bringing together partners across all sectors and with a wide range of interest. This partnership has started with us within the health sector, with the public and private healthcare practitioners undertaking national vaccination efforts collaboratively. The successful rollout of the campaign also requires the involvement of our non-health allies across all sectors nationally, including the commercial, tourism, education, and transportation sectors, to name a few. It is important that these sectors are targeted, as people within these groupings are at medium risk of being exposed to COVID-19.
In the coming weeks, mass vaccination exercises will be undertaken for the second phase of the campaign. Those who fall within phase 2, including moderate risk healthcare workers, first response personnel, and those living with non-communicable diseases, are asked to pre-register to receive their vaccines.
Pre-registering is valuable to us at the Ministry of Health, as it assists us in our forward planning for the logistics and resources required at vaccination sites. By so doing, it helps us in better meeting our demands as we continue vaccinations nationally. After registration, access nearest community vaccination sites. The Ministry of Health is aware that there are individuals with special needs, including the elderly and people with mobility challenges, who are unable to access the vaccination sites. These individuals, their family, or caregivers are encouraged to contact the nearest community wellness center to register their loved ones.
Individuals are asked to take a valid form of ID with them when going to get their vaccines, as it will assist in entering them into the National Health Management Information System. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news coming up after the break.